September in Paris, 1892. I barged into the bedroom and I shot them both. My wife, on suspicion of an amorous liaison, possibly taller, possibly better looking, possibly better endowed. Though I wondered, how could it be, considering the fact that my wife was not particularly attractive. All accounts thereafter became the petri dish for gossip. My conviction in a French court, nothing more than a crime of passion. I was the first Filipino to attain international fame. Way before the novels of General Luna, there was Juan Luna, the Philippines' greatest painter. For you see, whenever I walk into a church, I only see paintings of white angels. White.
Sa buhay ko'y labis.
Hello. Welcome to the Museum of Savages. I am your art critic and tour guide, Branson Pickles. Today, we give a spotlight on a special savage. He was a painter, a lover, a husband, and a murderer. And this painter and savage is none other than Juan Luna. Where to begin? Ah, yes. The Ilustrados, Spanish for learned or enlightened ones, constituted the Filipino educated class during the late 19th century. The young, the wealthy, the pale Filipino men that exemplified promising qualities were the very few to claim this title. However, Juan Luna was not pale, or wealthy for that matter, but his talent was as pure as white. Born in northwestern Luzon, a small garlic and tobacco town, he was destined for poverty. But in efforts to escape this life, his father enrolled him in Escuela Martima to learn about sailing. He felt that his son could earn more money for the family if he became a pilot. But Juan Luna knew he loved art more than the sea. He disobeyed his father's wishes and moved to Madrid. He turned out several great works, the first being The Death of Cleopatra. Now this piece won him second place in a Barcelona competition. But that wasn't good enough for him. He grew more ambitious. He wanted to paint something more grand. So he painted the Spolarium. This one, the Spolarium. The Roman dungeon after a gladiatorial combat. When it was finished, it measured to 4 1/4 meters wide by 7 3/4 meters long, about as big as a school bus. But he entered it in the Exposition of Fine Arts, where it won him his first gold medal. However, it did not win him the highest praise, the prize of honor. The prize of honor was rightfully granted to 2 Spanish painters. Perhaps the judges didn't want to grant this to a brown man. But nonetheless, he brought great pride to his country. But he was not satisfied. He had quite the temper.
Be it to death or to luck, I will accept the duel. For in this way, I will prove that Filipinos have more dignity, more honor, more courage than those cringing insulters who come out in our way. If we, who are called to do something great, if we, in whom the poor place their modest hopes, pass our time being treated less than, precisely when the time of our youth should be spent in something more noble and grand, because youth is noble and grand. I have great fear that we will get lost in the illusion of struggle. I appeal to the patriotism of all Filipinos so that we may have proof to the Spanish that we are greater than our misfortunes and that we cannot be treated less than. You see? I love this song. From 1884 until 1893, the Filipino painter resided in Paris, where he courted a young woman named Maria de la Paz Pardero de Tavera. He nicknamed her Paz because her name was a mouthful to say. She was described as fair-skinned, petite, with expressive eyes. She was half Filipino, half Spanish, and she belonged to one of the richest mestizo families in Paris. Paz's mother greatly opposed the marriage, and she had feared for the future of her daughter, whom she raised in the ambiance of modern metropolitan society since the girl was 13. She did not look kindly onto her daughter's suitor because he was an Indio, a native Filipino. She did not feel that Juan Luna could accord to the Spanish lineage of the family the respect she felt it merited. After all, mothers always do know best. But Paz's feminine sophistication and worldliness to European culture was compellingly erotic for Juan Luna. But it also provoked great fear. For Parisian sophistication had to be taught to the young savage. God knows. God damn it, cooperate! There. What mo naman. Paz, whom I adore with madness, and who will be my wife. It was she who presented me to Parisian society, and it was she who initiated me in the most luxurious and elegant places. She had a finger on everything that concerned me, even how I looked. She quarreled with the tailor who fitted my clothes. "I not like that," she said. Bossy, right? On December 8, 1886, the two were joined in marriage and toasted by longtime best friend and famous Filipino nationalist, Jose Rizal. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A toast for the happy couple. You all gather here today to add to ours your enthusiasm, the stimulus of youth, so you cannot but be indulgent. In the history of mankind, there are names which in themselves signify an achievement, which call up for reverence and greatness. Names which, like magic formulas, form a compact, a token of peace, a bond of love. to such names belong to Juan and Baz. Their splendor reaches from two extremes of the globe, the Orient and the Occident, Philippines and Spain. And as I utter their names, I seem to see two luminous arches rising there from on high to blend in unity. Two peoples whom the sea and space vainly try to separate. But love has no country. Love has no color. Love is like light and air. Love bursts forth everywhere. Love is love is love. This you both know well. To both of you is due the beauty of the stones that circle around the crown of the Philippines. She provides the gems and the polish. We all contemplate proudly, you for your work, and you for your beauty, and for your love for each other. And now, we hear a word from our sponsors, Papaya Whitening Soap. Papaya Whitening Soap. Papaya Whitening Soap helps make my skin so white, makes my skin so smooth. Papaya Whitening Soap is made up of 100% papaya extract para ang skin feeling whiter and smoother in just 1 week. Feel your skin and soul sing. As Juan Luna's time in Paris progressed, the subject of his art drastically changed. He no longer focused on the patriotism of his country, but he became more fascinated with the modern Parisian women. In 1882, he painted Parisian Life. And this is arguably one of his most critically acclaimed paintings. The painting depicts a sort of woman who provokes a state of mingled sexual curiosity and more opprobrium for the Filipino illustrators residing in Paris. Seated alone, she invites ogling of 3 Indios in top hats, one of whom is clearly inclining forward to get a better look. This painting captures Juan Luna's sexual excitement and anxiety that the subject had engendered. Rizal and I donned out our best Manila wardrobe immediately. We went across the street to cut our hair at the barbershop in the most current fashion. The smoking, curling tongs taming our straight hair. Myself looking in the mirror at my curled mustache. I smiled with admiration. We were about to leave. But then this woman approaches us and invites us to the glove section. So there we went, discovering 2 young and beautiful women, brunette and blonde. Mine was the blonde one. She had blue eyes, curled eyelashes, and a constant heaving to her well-developed bosom that punctuated the beating of my glove, finger by soft means of a gentle massage. Thank you. This song is dedicated to all the beautiful women, to all the strong, beautiful women, especially you. Waray, hindi tatakas. Waray, handang matodas. Waray, bahala bukas. Waray, manigas. suppose you're wondering what language this is. It is a language of the Philippines called Tagalog. And it says the women of Waray have beauty and muscles of steel. But the men's kisses are sweet as wine. Waray, ay baton, kasi araw kami palagi magpapagay, kundi ibang waray. Isn't that terribly expressive? What do you think it means? It means give me all you got, honey, and I'll make you feel like a queen. Waray, hindi ka taakas. Waray, bahala buhugas. Waray, bahala buhugas. Waray, manigas. Thank you. Juan Luna, by the age of 29, had already received fame and accolade for his art, but very little money. His social status became one big show for the world to watch. He had to resort to selling copies of his paintings to keep up with his lifestyle. It was a time of financial hardship for the family, when Juan Luna realized he couldn't afford to support them. He had relied on his wife's money and on the financial support of his in-laws, which was very unusual for men during that time. Manly pride steered his anger. One morning, he got up at the kitchen table, grabbed everything, threw them at paws, shook her violently, and yelled, "I notice that you are doing it seriously! You please me least. You offend me. In the near future, you will act as my wife. Be the first to acknowledge my virtues. Do not ridicule me in front of your family by imagining vices that would greatly hurt my honor." I think it's an appropriate time to hear from our sponsors. Papaya Whitening Soap! For the right skin and the right beauty, use Papaya Whitening Soap. When your friends ask you, "How is your skin so white?" the answer is so simple. Bleach! There is bleach in your soap. Bleach mixed with papaya and milk. Wash away your shame. Word got around Paris that Paz was seeing another man, a French man. One morning, I saw her wearing lipstick again, and I asked her, "Why are you painting your face?" She could not reply. And I knew then that she belonged to another man, a white man, taller, paler, more handsome. I felt humiliated. I felt disgusting. I felt inhuman. My rage was like a hurricane. When it was over, it left much grief, sadness, and death. September 22nd, 1892. I grabbed the revolver that I bought with my wife's money, pointed it to her head, pointed it to my mother-in-law's head, and made their skulls fly. We are drawing near to the end of our tour, but the Museum of Savages. You have before you a man who is not moved by the same impulse like we are. God has made him so. We have to pry into his nature, and should inquire if he should be judged like a French man. We are dealing with Orientals. We are dealing with Orientals who are Malays. They mistake kindness for weakness, forbearance for fear. It cannot be otherwise unless you could erase hundreds of years of Orientalism, and still hundreds of years of Spanish character and custom. They are not capable of self-government. How could they be? They are not of a self-governing race. Savage blood, Oriental blood, Malay blood, Spanish example. We must never forget that in dealing with the Filipinos, we deal with children. Reconciled with God to the holy sacrament of confession. And I wish to reconcile likewise with men. I offer this simple and just reparation, that these lines be sealed with peace. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wanted to be remembered as a hero. I will forever be remembered as a savage. This song is dedicated to all my countrymen, to my family, and to all those I have hurt. Dahil sa'yo nais kong mabuhay, dahil sa'yo hanggang mamatay, dapat mong tantuin, wala nang ibang gilo. Puso'y ko'y tanuin, ikaw at ikaw rin. Because of you, I yearn to live. Because of you, till death you realize that in my heart there's only you. is true. Because of you, dahil sa'yo.